A few years ago, I moved up to New York to pursue this dream that God gave me to launch a residential program down south. And while I was up there, I feel like He really gave me my mission and my passion in life, and that's to break the cycle of the fatherless home. You see, I fell in love with this mission of Timothy Hill because it's to transform lives through Christ's love. And see, what I realized while I was working up there is that would take so much more than just saying the words, I love you. A lot of our young men, we work with at-risk youth, and a lot of our young men have been told those words, I love you, by so many people who didn't reciprocate their love once they said it. And so those words didn't hold as much weight as they should. And so what I began to realize is I would always have to come back with love and investing in time and listening to these guys, even when they retaliated with hatred. And I've been kicked, I've been pushed, I get that. But man, I always had to come back with love because His love never fails. And what I realized is true transformation comes with Christ's love, and that Christ's love is more than just saying it, but I had to act it out. And so I fell in love with that mission. I fell in love with working with those young men because many of them were fatherless. As most of you know, my father passed when I was around 2 years old, and I was raised by a mother who worked her tail off for all four of us. And so it took a lot of positive male role models in my life to get me to where I am today. And so I felt obligated to give that back. So that's where this rope comes into play. And you might be like, man, what you got a rope in your hand for? So a few years ago, I was working at Kids Across America. And we were honoring our director, Ricky Jemison. I hope you see this video. And this girl was talking about a dream she had. And the dream was Ricky pulling this rope. And all of us were on the rope. And he essentially was pulling us out of our mess and pulling us into victory, pulling us closer to Christ. And so I remember sitting in that room, and the only thing that kept coming to me was, man, I want that rope. I need that rope. And I didn't know what that meant for me at the time. I didn't know what God would lead me to be, but I just felt like I needed to get that rope. And I truly feel like I picked up my rope in New York, and when I found my mission to break the cycle of the fatherless home. In Malachi 4:6, it says, God will send a prophet to bring the hearts of the children back to the fathers and the hearts of the fathers back to the children, or He curse the land. And I adopted that verse as my mission verse, and it motivates me every day to keep pulling. You see, when I went to Massachusetts and worked for Timothy Hill for this summer for a little while, we were doing a tug of war competition, and I got to lead a team where my team had a lot of young ladies on it, and we had a few guys, and so the other team kind of looked like they could beat us, even with me on the team, to be honest. And I could feel the doubt in my team. I could sense the doubt in myself. And I remember telling myself at that time, like, man, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make sure this rope gets on our side. And she blew the whistle, and I promise you, I took off running. And I fell, and I started crawling, and I'm rolling, and we ended up winning. And so it's hot. I get up, and I'm sweating, and I'm itching, and I really don't want to talk to nobody. But my team has formed a circle around me, and they going crazy. And I look up, and I see this joy and this excitement and this victory in their faces. And it just changed my whole mood. And if you would ask me, man, Deontay, would you do that again? I would tell you absolutely, a million times again, to see that victory on their faces. See, in the same way, I embrace that with the residents that I work with the young men that I want to work with. See, a lot of times in our lives, we gain victory over something, and it's okay to celebrate it, but we forget that there are people back there struggling with the same thing that we just came out of. And so I feel like, man, that there's an obligation for us to go back and help pull people towards Christ. See what Christ did for us. If He came down and He met us right in our mess and He pulled us out of it. See, in the same way, there are so many people struggling with their mess, struggling with their hurts. And your story may be an advocate for someone else's peace. And so I pledge to keep pulling for the rest of my life. I hang this rope by my door so every morning I remember to keep pulling. I mean, there are so many stories. There are so many young men that I don't know yet that if I ever drop this rope, I'll never get to meet. So I keep pulling. But the biggest story that I want to share with you is this 18, 19, 20-year-old kid messaged me on Facebook. And I won't say his name because I don't know if he want me to or not. But he messaged me and he said, "Happy Father's Day." And I said, man, stop playing. Like, I'm thinking he's talking about my wife, and then I'm like, nah, ain't none of that happening. I'm waiting a few years, but he said, nah, he said, see, you the only guy that's ever been a father figure to me my whole life. And the only guy that's ever been a father figure to me my whole life. And I remember, like, that hit me so hard because Here I am, a dude who was raised without a father, a kid who hated Father's Day because I never got to see my daddy on Instagram. I never got videos of my daddy on Facebook with me. And so I hated Father's Day. And so just to hear a kid, 18, 19, 20 years old, and I'm 26, to tell me Happy Father's Day meant the world to me. And it was truly just a validation of what God was doing in my life. So for stories like that, man, I pledge to keep pulling. And my prayer for you today is that you find a purpose to pull for. Your purpose may not be my purpose, and your mission may not be my mission, but I think we all have one. I think we all have people in our lives that we can help, that our stories can help, that we can pull them towards Christ on a daily basis. So I pray that you find your mission. I'm gonna leave my email at the bottom of this video, and I pray to get a ton of videos of people saying, Big Sir Deontay, man, I got my rope. I want you to go buy you a rope, make you a rope, and post a video. Send a video to me, or post a video saying, man, Big Sir, I got my rope, and here's why. I wanna know your mission. I wanna know why you're doing what you're doing and what you're going to commit to for the rest of your life. I pray that this video finds you well. Have a great day.